On this episode of Grant Random Reports the News, we'll tell you about a man stealing a Waffle House tattoo. Also, you'll hear about a phenomenon known as winter vagina. And you'll learn about a new way to indulge in your sexual fantasies involving Santa. That and much more on the newscast that should not be called a newscast. Reporting from our global headquarters in subterranean Brooklyn. Can you believe we made it to a second episode? Wild. I'm Grant Random, and this is the news. Researchers have found a surprising number of men are interested in getting butt implants. As a man who can admit to having a tiny tush, I'll tell you that a butt injection is one of the few things I won't put in my ass. Fans of McDonald's were shocked and outraged to learn that the main ingredient of the fast food chain's sweet and sour sauce is apricot flavor, with many saying the sauce is now ruined for them. Perhaps those who are outraged by this reveal should be relieved that the sauce does not contain DNA. A new study shows that more adults in the UK spend time watching porn during work hours than any other time of the day. This is consistent with previous research that shows up to 40% of people masturbate at work. The benefits of pleasuring yourself at the office include stress reduction, mood enhancement, and the exhilaration of jerking off on the clock. More Americans are doom spending despite having concerns about the state of the economy. Reports show that Gen Z and millennials in particular are susceptible to this mindless spending. Among other things, they're wasting money on crystals, subscriptions to Peacock Plus, and pube shampoo. A man in Florida was arrested after failing to pay for a Waffle House tattoo at the Ink Gods tattoo parlor in St. Petersburg. By the way, that's Gods with a Z, as it should be. The 33-year-old man, whose name I can't pronounce, is facing charges of petite theft for his failure to pay the $250 owed for the ink. At the time, he claimed he forgot his debit card, but later failed to prove he had $250 in his account to begin with, and refused to pay when given multiple payment options. Friends of the accused say he hasn't been this excited about ink since he was arrested a few years ago for stealing the tattoo around his navel of a cat's asshole. Researchers say a theoretical scenario involving a star passing by our solar system could massively disrupt Earth and the other planets. The possibilities include the planet Mercury being thrust into the sun, our Earth colliding with another planet, or being flung past Pluto into the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is a region on the perimeter of our solar system that's described as distant, icy, and chaotic, kind of like your ex. Health officials in the UK say December 15th was the most sexless day of the year due to the lack of demand for sexual health services on December 16th. The belief by some is that the sexlessness is caused by a condition that some women suffer from called winter vagina. Those who are afflicted deal with a variety of symptoms associated with dryness. While it isn't often discussed publicly, many men deal with something similar that is often referred to as December dong, Hanukkah hog, and Christmas cock. I think there's a sponsorship opportunity here, so for any company offering some sort of a bag, balm, or labia lotion, please DM me at your earliest convenience. Thank you. In other genital news, doctors have found that the risk of penile fracture increases at Christmas. Reasons for the spike are suspected to be the intimacy and euphoria of the holiday season. Signs of a penile fracture include an audible crack sound, severe pain, and the sneaking suspicion that you've just broken your dick. Wallet Hub has released the results of a study ranking the least stressed out states in the U.S. Massachusetts came in at number 5, number 4 is South Dakota, New Hampshire is number 3, number 2 is Utah, and the least stressed out state in the U.S. is Minnesota. Residents of the land of 10,000 lakes enjoy the least amount of money and family-related problems, the second highest average hours of sleep per night, and the lack of stress associated with your professional sports teams making the playoffs. Pornhub has released its report of the most searched terms for 2023. Among the top trending topics for the year were searches related to sex with senior citizens. While we could provide some of the specific search terms that were popular, I don't want you going to your family holiday gathering with the term anal granny swimming around in your head. I just couldn't do that to you. A group of scientists say they've created artificial intelligence that can predict when you'll die with 78% accuracy. The technology takes into consideration a number of factors about your life to arrive at its estimation. A lot is unknown about this unreleased program, such as whether or not it will tell you the precise manner in which it will murder you. In January, the TSA will officially begin testing a new self-service screening program that's similar to the self-checkout stations at grocery stores. In early beta testing, officials were pleased with how smoothly and efficiently the system works. Meanwhile, beta testers say they were impressed by their ability to voluntarily submit to additional screening by the cavity search robot, which they described as thorough and gentle. Some beta testers enjoyed interacting with the droid so much they repeatedly had it search their cavities and were subsequently asked to leave. When we return, we'll take you to the sexual side of Santa Claus, whether you want us to or not. But first, we present a message about our sponsor. This podcast is being brought to you by our friends at... I'm interrupting this message because we don't actually have any sponsors yet. So instead, we're going to go to a brief intermission. I'm interrupting this intermission, and isn't it lovely? Because I'd like to ask you to subscribe to this podcast if you have not already. Also, please rate it and leave a kind review if the app you're listening on allows it. And tell everybody you know to listen and explain to them to please not be dicks about this. I know I sound very needy. Also, I'd like to thank you for the kind feedback that I've received on social media at Grant Random and all the places, and in the various reviews left on podcasting apps. I also very much appreciate those who said, quote, "I wish it were longer." You know, this is not the first time someone's told me that. Now back to the intermission. And that concludes our intermission. Thank you. For a limited time while supplies last. And remember, you get 10% off by using the code FORBIDDENGOOCH. An erotic audio app called Bloom is giving people the opportunity to exchange flirty messages with an AI version of Santa Claus. You can expect interactions to include references to Santa's sack, suggestions of how unbelievably naughty you've been, and the explanation from AI Santa that because you don't have a chimney, he'll have no choice but to enter through your back door. A representative from Bloom says, quote, "When it comes to sexual content, we all have unique and specific desires we want to see fulfilled. Bloom is absolutely correct, and for some people, that desire is to be fucked by Santa Claus. Data supports this, as searches for Santa porn skyrocket over the holiday season. Santa porn takes you to the deviant side of the Santaverse, where Santa and Mrs. Claus are in an open relationship, and the term Yule log has an entirely different meaning. It's a world in which Santa's helpers don't make toys. Instead, they spend most of their time tending to Santa's North Pole. In Santa porn, Father Christmas eats more than just your cookies. It's a world in which jolly old St. Nicholas sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, and he knows when you're kicking the tires on engaging in an adulterous affair with a mystical fat man who's broken into your house late at night. When you enter the world of Santa porn, you'll discover that Santa's workshop is a den of iniquity where the hammering and drilling are of a sexual nature and the toys are insertable. Truly, every part of the Santa mythos has been perverted and sexualized in Santa porn. If you're horrified by what you've heard and don't want another beloved holiday character ruined for you, then whatever you do, don't Google the phrase "Santa fucks the Easter Bunny," because I promise you will definitely get results. Did I just ruin Christmas for you? I'm so sorry if I did. It was not my intention. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, although I guess sometimes entertainment can have consequences. I am confident, though, you can work this out in therapy, so good luck with that. Thank you for listening to the second ever episode of Grant Random Reports the News. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe if you haven't already. Also, rate it on the platforms that you can and leave comments where you can as well. And follow me at Grant Random on social media. And please tell everybody you know to listen and subscribe. Now, if you didn't like this podcast, try listening to the next episode while intoxicated. I think you'll see that the results will be much improved. Thank you again for allowing this to be your newscast of choice while sitting on the shitter.